50 years ago, the type of vehicle designed for off-road motorcycling as we know it now didn't exist. Enter John Penton, a pioneer determined to find the right machine to tackle the toughest terrain imaginable. He became the first importer of a lightweight off-road focused motorcycle, one that would eventually be known as KTM. But in those days, Pentons, as they were called, were the dominant machines in the woods, and they found a perfect home, especially in the mid-1970s, when enterprising racing promoter Dave Coons decided to build the toughest race in America, the Blackwater 100. Leading riders through 100 miles of swamps, bogs, boulders, and hill climbs through the mountains of West Virginia, the Blackwater 100 spawned an entire racing series. And the rugged, lightweight motorcycles and ATVs that evolved with it spawned an entire part of an industry. Today, we celebrate the history as the John Penton GNCC roars into Ohio. Rugged machines and rugged racers battling for victory. It's a quest began by John Penton so many decades ago, and one that continues today. RacerTV is next.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Back to RacerTV.com and GNCC Live as we continue here from Millfield, Ohio, and Sunday Creek Raceway for the Wiseco John Penton GNCC, the longest standing GNCC on the circuit. And this is round 4 of the 2018 UTV Racing Championship that we've got underway here, my friends. And what a great day we've got in store for us already. We've seen some great ATV racing. If you tuned in a little bit ago to RacerTV, you saw Walker Fowler take another win here, and rather convincingly. And you also saw a few rain showers as the rain and the race progressed, and of course that rain created a little bit of mud out there. Some of it got knocked off, but there's some fresh mud out there for these UTVs as they get set to roll through their course here in just a few moments as well. 74 cars have made their way here to Ohio this weekend as we have the stage set for what looks like a great championship wind down as we head into the latter half of the 2018 championship series for these UTV racers. And of course with that, a lot of folks and a lot of players are still in the ball game as far as championship points, and one of those includes Hunter Miller, who was last year's second place finisher. He finished behind his brother Cody Miller, and he's currently points leader as we roll into this one, and I know that he's hoping to be able to back up a Miller Brothers Racing Championship. If his brother can't do it, he wants to wear the number 1 plate whenever 2019 rolls around. Will that happen? Only time will tell. He's got riders and drivers like Kevin Trantham. He's got Michael Swift out there. Walker Fowler, who just won the ATV race, is also a major factor and a major threat as far as this championship is concerned right now. And what happens over the course of these next 3 rounds of racing is going to be very critical and very crucial. As we know, UTV racing, it's kind of new to GNCC. It's kind of new racing altogether. Sometimes these cars hold together, sometimes they don't. The one thing that you can expect in a UTV race is the unexpected. A driver that's out front early, looking like he's going to take the win, oftentimes don't even finish the race. And that's where these championship points get kind of mixed up, and it also gets exciting as we wind down to the end of the 2018 championship season. What's today going to bring? I don't know. What's the weather going to bring? I don't know. Passing showers right now as we look up. We see some clouds off to the distance, a little overcast. As well, we see a little blue sky. So the next hour could certainly deal us a wild hand of cards and a wild day of racing as far as GNCC is concerned. As we said, 74 cars, and as we take a look at row number 1, the first starters that we'll see will be the number 2 car of Hunter Miller. He'll be joined by the number 4 car and last year's number 4 top champion, Kevin Trantham. Michael Swift in the number 12 car, who also raced this morning. He was the points leader in the single-seat racing. After 2 laps, he was leading the race. Something happened to him, so he was out of that one. Don't know for sure, but we'll see if Michael Swift can rebound. 30 seconds are here with us. Walker Fowler's also on the line in car number 13, and Jamie McCoy in car number 70 on row number 1. The blue flags are out. We're less than 30 seconds to go, and UTV UTV GNCC Racing is about to get underway as we turn our attention to Ricky Towery in turn number 1, and he lets us know 10 seconds for row number 1 here at the Wisecoat John Penton GNCC. Row number 1, UXC Pro Turbo, off and rolling. It's the 70 car of Jamie McCoy taking the early lead in this one as we check back to the number 2 position. It is the number 2 car, Hunter Miller, current points leader, heading into this latter half of the championship season. Row number 2, Cody Miller, your defending champion, along with Kyle Cheney, former champion, Sean Bogdan, Darren Oakley, and Cole Secoy, ready to roll. Green flag waves on this one, and row number 2 is off, and the number 1 Yamaha car with those Maxxis tires hooking up is that of your defending champion, Cody Miller, but all of a sudden, Kyle Cheney makes the pass, and Oakley gets by in the 10 car, and all kinds of trouble for your defending champion here in the second turn. 10 seconds for row number 3, Matt Sealer, Jason Watt, Colin Truitt, and Robert Boynton. This is UXC Pro 2, UXC 2 Pro. We saw the turbos in UXC 1 a moment ago. These cars are naturally aspirated vehicles. They are not turbocharged in the 17 machine. Well, that's his Colin Truitt, who had a very stellar race this morning, getting the early lead in this one. 10 seconds for row 4, UXC 2 Pro, Jim Guggenauer, Spencer Modlin, Sean Hess, Kyle Hart, and Austin Seelig. Oh, man. We got a Yamaha and a Polaris ripping it out side by side as they head into the first, out of the first turn into turn 2. It's the car 122 now. The 122 car is Sean Hess. Row number 5, UXC 2 Pro, John Kletz, Matthew Ashton, and Chris Wolf ready to roll next. Oh, a good jump by the 19 car of John Kletz. Kletz on the inside, going to be able to thread some needles, a little bump and grind action going on, but he's going to get through turn 2, looks like unscathed. Oh, no, here comes the 6'9 car. Chris Wolf threading the needle and taking the lead as they head into turn 3 now. Row 6, Scotty Lawrence in the UXC 3 Pro-Am. Scotty Lawrence, Trevor Payne, Eric Palomaki, Dwight Pollard, and Wesley Lance off and rolling now. 623 car getting a good start. That's Eric Palomaki. Palomaki going to grab the early lead in this one. It looks like by a couple of car lengths as they go in the... Whoa, he gets a little wild in turn 2, but still holds on to it as he drives toward turn number 3 now. Coming up next, row 7, the UXC 3 Pro-Am, Matthew Cassee, Brett Wingfield, Bubba Gray, Jeremy Wallace, and Luke Shepard. Matthew Cassee, former ATV motocross racer, here with us, and now a avid mechanic, is getting off to a good start out here in the 01 car. It's actually the 101 GNCC car, and he's going to grab the early lead as we go to row 8, UXC 3 Pro-Am, Brett Bennett, Patrick Shamblin, Jason Langbert, John Boffman, and Ronald Barndell. Oh, yeah, getting a little traction out there in turn 2. Colin Truitt two-wheeling it through that one. Let's see what happens in this one as car number 669, John Boffman. Whoa, man, talk about beautifully executed turns there, man. No problem. He's got about 4 car lengths heading into turn 3. Now to row 9, UXC 3 Pro-Ams. Rolling next, Clint Emerson, Dalton Schmidt, Donald Harrison, Wesley Stone, and Levi Metzinger. And as they round turn 1, coming out in front, it's a Yamaha car. That's the 555 of Wesley Stone. Row 10, UXC 3 Pro-Am. A big class of these riders today. Jared Ham, William Hillard, Corey Cross, and James Whittakin, and James Blackburn. And we got the 806 car. And up next, that was James Blackford. Up next, Dalton Daly, Tim Wood, UXC3 Pro-Am. We see our Wexer car here with us in that one. I believe that is Tim Wood in that car as the 812. Yep. And they take off. The Maxxis machine is off and rolling too. That orange colored car, they call it the Maxxis machine. It's all orange, and Maxxis is all it's all about. It's the 106 car. It grabs the early lead over the Wexer car. Dalton Daly out front early on. Sportsman coming up next. Tanner Bowles, Robert Lysy, Little Ricky Zorn, and Brian Russell. Oh, I didn't even see that. The Maxxis machine toppled over. What's going on there, Jay? Too much traction. That's exactly what I was thinking. So the Maxxis machine is off and rolling, and now we are ready for our next row, row 12. 10 seconds. And they're off. There goes the Zorn machine. Lil Ricky, look at him go. Had a rough way to go. Oh, Lil Ricky getting bumped around in that front position, but man, he puts the hammer down, and he has got that number 1 position coming out of turn number 2 now. As we go to our next row, that was row 12, row 13. Sportsman, it's Christopher Kelso, Steve Dillon, Brian Kelso, and Mark Strawler. Well, it's 013. I'm going to think that's the 313 of Brian Kelso. Yes, it is. Brian Kelso leading this one on row 13 as we go to row 14. Women's UTV, Emily Truitt, Sarah Golden, Annie Neibel, Vicki Fowler, and Renee McGee. And they're off. And Vicki Fowler, actually the mother of Walker Fowler. You see Emily Truitt out there. Well, Colin Truitt, that is his sister, I believe, that is racing in this one. His dad races as well, and his mom rides in the car with him. So it's a family affair whenever it comes to GNCC and, of course, UTV racing. Row 15, Masters 45-plus class. Chris Brockway, Devin Ferguson, Mark Thompson, Thomas Wilson, and Kip Atkins ready to roll next. And they're off. Brockway Racing out front early on. That's Chris Brockway in the 23 car, the Masters 45-plus class, with the 406 car there in second of Thomas Wilson. Now to row 16, the grandfather of, I would say, UTV racing as much as, utility racing in general. Mike Penland in this one, my friends, in the 39 car. Jim McGee, Matthew Yerkes, Glenn Hess, and Matt Horton. That's right. You can credit the 4x4 racing that you see today, which led to this right here, to the 39 of Mike Penland, who actually grabbing the early lead in this one. This man has taken this sport to all new levels and helped present a program that has made a lot of folks very happy. Row 17, our final row, Masters 45-plus class. Paul Yerkes and Austin Sides, Sergey Michaud, Mitch Truitt, that's Colin and Emily's dad, Bobby Hasty and Tom Lewis. The whole family's out racing right now. Mom's in the car with Colin, Emily's out, and now Mitch is out. Papa is out as well. 321, Mitch Truitt, and Papa's got the lead. Papa Truitt has the lead coming off of this last row, row 17, my friends, and that's going to wrap things up as far as our UTV start. 74 cars traversing the hills of southeastern Ohio, the mecca of off-road racing. And GNCC Live will follow it all coming up right after this.
Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Lucas Oil Pro Motocross returns to the legendary High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for the 42nd annual Red Bull High Point National on Saturday, June 16th, located just 5 miles north of Morgantown off I-79 exit 1. Be trackside when the dirt flies. Go to highpointmx.com. Feel the roar of speed only motocross ring. The races start at 1 p.m. Saturday, June 16th at High Point Raceway. Visit highpointmx.com and we'll see you at the races June 16th.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young, and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track. And we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
And welcome back to the 2018 Wiseco John Penton GNCC. This is round number 4 of UTV racing on the schedule today. It is a beautiful day here in Millfield, Ohio. We're looking at right now, we're coming to you live on RacerTV, and our camera crew has been able to pick up at the mulch pit. This is the world famous mulch pit right here at the John Penton Sunday Creek Raceway. And as you see these cars coming through, you're going to notice that there's a lot of moisture in the ground. We just had a shower during the last race, the ATV race that just ended about a half hour ago. And these utility machines, actually these big UTV machines, are able to take to the track right now. And from what we've been able to see on RacerTV, conditions have been prime. There was just enough water to get the dust down out of the air, and these machines are loose out on the course and completing their first lap. They have not checked through live timing and scoring yet, haven't come through the barrels yet. As you see it right here, we're getting our first look at the finish line, and we will soon be able to tell you who's in the lead momentarily as these guys are checking in at the end of their first lap. As we heard during riders meeting, this is a 5-mile course today, and so we're expecting our lap times will be rather quick. Be able to keep up with these guys right now. With all the mud that's on the machines, I'm referring to the live timing and scoring. It is Kyle Cheney that checked through in first place. Kyle Cheney's right now in first place, Cody Miller in second place, and this is after adjusted timing, since both of these guys, both Kyle and Cody, were on the second wave of the start. This is adjusted timing scoring that we do here with UTV racing. So right now our running order is Kyle Cheney, Cody Miller, Darren Oakley, Cole Secoy, and Jamie McCoy. Jamie McCoy was the early leader of this race physically in first place on the track, but with time adjustment, Kyle Cheney, who was last week's winner, or I should say last round winner. It's been several weeks since we've seen these cars at a GNCC, but Kyle Cheney got his first win of the season at our last UTV race. Currently, though, he does not hold the points lead. The points lead belongs to Hunter Miller, who is the older brother of Cody Miller, our reigning champion. Cody Miller came into the season with high expectations on his Yamaha YXZ machine, and has just had a string of, well, I would say probably not such good luck for him so far this year. Hunter Miller has the current points lead. Jamie McCoy is in second place in the championship. Kevin Trantham holds down the third place position. We're halfway through the season. We've got 3 races complete, 3 races to go. This is the 4th race of the UTV series. So there's a lot on the line right now. Every driver out there knows that anything can happen, so they're putting their best foot forward, putting their best foot to the pedal to the metal right now as they tackle these woods here in Millfield, Ohio. Again, to refresh your memory, Kyle Chaney in the lead of this race, Cody Miller, Darren Oakley, Cole Sequoy, Jamie McCoy, Hunter Miller is in the 6th place position. Walker Fowler, our ATV overall winner, is in the 7th place position. Sean Bogdan in 8th. Michael Swift in 9th place position. We'll be having more drivers check in as we progress. And I'm getting an update right now that the XC2 drivers are checking in the XC2 class. It looks like it's Jason Watt with the early lead in the XC2 class. Colin Truitt was the early leader coming out of getting the whole shot on that, but it's Jason Watt that leads XC2. Matt Zeiler in 2nd place and Colin Truitt in 3rd place in the XC2. So we look forward to a battle shaping up today. Looks like our lap times today for this first lap complete have been right around 11.5 minutes. So with a 1-hour race, we're looking at probably about a 5-lap race. Probably 5 laps to go. We've got 1 lap down so far, and this race will be shaping up. The one thing that we know with UTV racing is that anything can happen and anything will happen. So we'll keep a close eye on RacerTV. We'll keep a close eye on the live timing and scoring. Be sure to bring you the results as we get them. But it's interesting right now, if you're watching the TV screen at home, this mulch pit, this mulch pit is probably rougher than a section of Supercross whoops. There's no easy way to get through that mulch pit. Inside, outside, they've got waist deep, sometimes even chest deep holes right through there. Last year at this race, Hunter Miller was the winner of this race, but I remember this mulch pit specifically because it swallowed a UTV hole. Those holes get so deep that someone charged into it, their front end dropped, and over they went. So these guys these ladies and gentlemen, they both need to take these, be smart with their line selection, and I think that's key of any race, but particularly here at John Penton, our track crew works really hard to give them multiple lines, give them multiple options, but you've got to be smart as you come into these areas. I know that most of these XC1 drivers, the UTV, the Pro row there, the Turbo row, a lot of those drivers will go out and they'll walk the track not once, but usually about 2 times, just to see how the race track is shaping up throughout the day and plan their lines accordingly. Same with the navigators. Every single car that you're seeing on your TV screen here carries a passenger, and that passenger is there to point lines, to holler at other drivers to get out of the way. If they're an XC1 Pro, they're allowed to have an air horn, honk the horn, say, hey, we're not in your class, let us by. So it's a true teamwork effort here. As we're getting a look here, looks like we've got a car that's overheating. We're seeing we were seeing some steam coming out of that car. I didn't catch the number, but man, key with anything is to finish first. First you have to finish, and these cars definitely take a beating. You're seeing on your screen there, you're seeing a look at the overall lead right now with Kyle Chaney is in the lead position, and this is with all classes combined, all times checked in. Kyle Chaney's in the lead, Cody Miller in 2nd, Jason Watt out of the XC2 class is in 3rd place for the overall. Matt Zeiler is in the 4th place, he's also XC2. Darren Oakley is in 5th, he's XC1. Colin Truitt is in 6th place overall. Cole Sequoy 7th, Jamie McCoy 8th, Hunter Miller in 9th, and Walker Fowler in 10th place position. And that is with 1 lap complete, and you can see the crawler at the top of your screen there and be able to keep up with these guys. We'll be waiting on them to finish their 2nd lap here. They're still several minutes out. They're probably about half a lap into their 2nd lap right now. So there's a lot of racing to be done, but our track crew and our RacerTV crew has been working hard to give us strategic positioning through the mulch pit at the finish line. We've got the drone that's getting refueled as we speak and be up in the air here pretty soon to give us an even better look at the whole course. But from what everyone's been able to report from a whole day of racing, from youth that started at 8 o'clock in the morning to the amateurs at 10 o'clock to our pro race that was at 1 o'clock, we've got a fantastic race course here. And these UTVs are riding parts of the same course that have been ridden all day long. They've got a 5-mile loop that's been carved out. A lot of that loop consists of the motocross track, grass field sections, there's some wood sections, and of course, the famous mulch pile that we're seeing on our screen right here. Which to get through, it looks like you got to back out of the throttle just a little bit, be smart. and then get back on it as soon as you hit those exit signs there. But as you can tell, sometimes it turns into a slot car race as you come through these rough sections, and there's just 2 ruts there for your wheels to go into, and choose wisely and choose carefully as you approach sections like this. Some interesting facts about the John Penton GNCC. This is the oldest running GNCC on the course, and although it hasn't, UTVs has been a relatively new approach to GNCC racing. Our first GNCC UTV race here was in 2009. 2009 was the first time that we ran UTVs at this course, but this course has been on the GNCC schedule since 1990. 1990 was the first time that we ever ran a GNCC here, and at the time it was called the Burr Oaks GNCC. Changed the name in 2002 to the John Penton GNCC to honor the legendary John Penton, who's from this area, who was the first importer of KTM motorcycles into the United States. And John Penton had such a hand in developing those bikes that they were actually called Pentons here in the United States of America. They were known as Pentons for probably over a decade before the name KTM finally started sticking. Another interesting fact about John Penton, just that has probably affected every single racer out there, whether you ride a KTM or not. At some point in your career, you've probably owned a pair of Alpine Star boots. Those are actually due to John Penton. John Penton started High Point, which was an import. He had some oils and some other things, and decided he was going to get into dirt bike boots. Had a appointment scheduled with a ski boot manufacturer. He went to the wrong place, some place called Alpine Stars, and the legend was born. And if you've been around for a while, you've probably owned a pair of those. And if you ever bump into John Penton, you can tell him thank you. But to return back to the action here at the UTV round here at John Penton, we've got Rodney Tomlin in the booth. Welcome back, Rodney.
Ice cream!
Ice cream. He comes into the booth with ice cream for everybody.
Yeah, that's it. First unofficial weekend of summer. What better way to celebrate than with ice cream? They got it up there at the concession stand, the pizza stand. They've already sold out all the pizza. They got
ice cream.
They got ice cream. They got root beer floats and all kinds of good stuff. Stop on up, man. It's hot. It's humid. This stuff is hitting the spot.
It is humid. And hey, you know what, Rodney? That brings up a really good point. After you get your ice cream and get your belly all full, in about 40 minutes, we're going to have the GNCC slip and slide, the water truck water slide, and it's on the hill over by the over by the entrance there. So join us for that. On your screen, you're getting a good look at Cody Miller coming through, and I did not catch if Kyle Cheney was in front of him or was behind him. But to catch you up to speed there, Rodney, Kyle Cheney has been leading this after one lap complete. Kyle Cheney came through the barrels in first place after time adjustment. Cody Miller came through in second place. Both of those guys started on the second row, so
Wow.
it's a time adjustment thing.
Right.
We got Kyle Cheney, Cody Miller, and Jason Watt out of the XC2 class, and is rounding out our top 3 overall right now, one lap complete.
You know, they say it a lot, and we've mentioned it so many times, that being in the back rows or behind in these UTV races especially are rather beneficial to you, I think, a lot of times, because all you got to do is catch the guys in front of you. You don't have to pass them. So we've discussed that time and time again so far in this 2018 championship season, and that's exactly what we're seeing come to fruition right here. We see that with Cheney and Miller starting in row 2. They didn't have to blaze the trail. The beauty of it is they get to follow the tracks on their first time around, where the guys up in the front row, which included guys like Walker Fowler, I think, was in there.
Yeah, Walker Fowler, Hunter Miller. You had a bunch
Kevin
of
Trent,
fast
Michael
guys.
Swift, Jamie McCoy. You know, it seems like they would have an advantage with a free and clear racetrack, but you know, anytime we talk about these types of starts, time adjustments always seem to favor. And here we come with the number 1 car.
This camera angle, I know folks at the track can't see this camera angle, but it really shows the speed of Cody Miller as he's charging down along the woods line there at the top of the motocross track, and now he's busting out onto the motocross track, and we've got a long distance zoom camera in on him, and man, he is just flying. And I'll tell you what, Rodney, his car is hooking up. I know he spends a lot of time dialing. He and Kyle Cheney, actually all these guys spend a lot of time dialing their cars in and doing a lot of testing and tuning, but his car is just hooking up. I don't see him slipping anywhere. I mean, whether it's slick or got some mud there, he's gripping and ripping as they like to say. And here he comes. He is physically first into the barrels. So it looks like Cody Miller somehow, in one shape or fashion, I'm speculating that he has been able to blow by that row in front of him.
Well, Walker Fowler just got a report, by the way, while we're watching this, that has locked up his rear end, I think, if that's what the understanding, if I understand that correct, is what I'm trying to say. And also, that means he's out of the race, so they're having to tow him back in. So that's maybe a saving grace for this guy right here.
Could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
and as well all the rest of the guys, because that's one less competitor that is very fast in these UTV machines that they're going to have to reckon with.
I'll tell you what, I mentioned a minute ago that we had the drone down getting refueled, and it's nice that thing got some gas. It's back up in the air, because look at this camera shot. This is beautiful. Just to be able to pace alongside of Cody Miller there, out there on the Sunday Creek Raceway motocross track, and now he's getting ready to exit that track and head back up into the woods. You see he's slowing down there.
Yep.
Just so you know, that's a speed zone.
Yep.
There are 3 speed zones out here, but we've been careful to shorten them up so that the majority of the time is spent racing and not riding through pit zone, NASCAR pit zone.
Right, and also the woods are closed, so there's no spectators allowed out in the wood sections. So
and look, that is actually a huge advantage for Cody. I mean, for all these racers, you can see with that shot right there, he didn't have to worry about anything but the trees. And having both of us been on this course in the past, in cars when you're running 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's like the spectators always want to be where you want to go.
Right where you want to go, and you've got to be so conscious of that. You're worried more about that kid stepping out in the track than you are in what you're actually doing. So smart call on GNCC's part to close those woods off and let these guys actually race, especially now that there's money on the line. I mean, these guys are getting paid to race, and the sport has progressed so far.
It is a full-on factory-sponsored sport. There's
who is that? The number 11?
I believe that might be who that is.
Ah, man.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. 19. It's the 19 car. And
that's John Kletz out of the XC2 class.
Yeah, he got the whole shot in the early lead in his row as well, and what a heartbreaker.
If you're here at the track and not able to see this, John Kletz is dragging his right rear wheel. It's attached. I think the only thing holding that on is the brake line.
Wow. So
the axle is snapped, the suspension is snapped, and somehow he was just dragging it along behind him. So I think that ends his day.
Yeah, I think that ends his day. He's dropping back through the ranks right now. We see him. I seen him. He was up like 5th or 6th whenever I first saw it. Now he's down to about 9th place position, dropping to 10th. Chris Wolf not finishing up lap 2 yet either in the 69 car, which is a little bit of a surprise to me after seeing what we saw going on with him in the early part of that. He was very aggressive, very fast off the starting line out there a few moments ago. Looking like it's going to be a 5-lap race there, Pastor Chuck.
Yeah, it sure does. It looks like after 2 laps complete, it looks like Kyle Cheney has got the lead with time adjustments. It's interesting that we were following Cody Miller with their RacerTV camera, but it looks like Kyle Cheney actually has the lead on that. And we'll pull up the results here and get the overall.
Right now, Kyle Cheney after 2, Jamie McCoy in 2nd, Hunter Miller is 3rd. Wow.
And Cody Miller's dropped back to 4th. So even though we were following him on camera, and he was driving great. His car was hooking up. He looked super fast, but somehow it's back into 4th place after 2 laps complete. So I apologize. Totally missed Kyle Cheney, McCoy, and Hunter Miller coming through the barrels there.
Well, Jamie McCoy actually was leading, I believe, physically, and now he's dropped back. Cheney is out front, it looks like, physically. McCoy is 3 seconds back. Hunter Miller just 9/10 of a second back in 3rd. Cody Miller 53 seconds back in the number 4 spot. And wow, that's
he was running 2nd after the 1st lap, so you got to think he got hung up somewhere with something.
Yeah, and then we see UXC2 drivers checking in. Matt Zeeler, the 14 car, is 5th place overall, 2nd in that class from Nebo, North Carolina. Colin Truitt, who I think won he got 2nd this morning, but man, he salvaged a big day. He dropped way back after leading early on, and he came back on the last lap in that single seat racing And he was in 4th place. He made it up to 4th place, and he got past one other car and his dad to take over the 2nd place position. Yeah.
I know his dad's out there right now.
Yeah.
So, and his dad started pretty far back in the plus 45 class. So
Yeah,
on a
and
5-mile course, there might be some lapping opportunities here.
And I believe his sister may be out there as well.
I saw that. And
Yeah.
Emily Truitt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to have to ask. Hopefully he'll make it on the podium. We'll be able to interview him about what's this family affair thing here. We've got 3 Truitts out here on the track. What's the deal?
And a 4th one inside the car.
Inside the
Mama
car with
Truitt,
him. Yeah, Stephanie, his mom.
So through another one of the speed zones we see there, they are carefully calculated with radar guns. They're, amazingly, there's been no penalties imposed since we started doing this. You got to tip the hat to the drivers. They've been very strong-willed about making sure they get down to these speeds. And we have upped it from a 10-mile-an-hour to a 15-mile-an-hour zones because obviously we were working with that.
That's right. We're learning as we go.
Learning as we go, trying to safeten things up as much as possible. And I tell you, we are creating, I think, especially whenever Sunday Creek Raceway is such a great spectator atmosphere. It's got to be one of the best motocross tracks in the country. As far as spectator viewing goes and things like that, I mean, you've got 360-degree access to the racetrack. You've got 360-degree viewing. Basically from anywhere on the race course. You can see the entire thing, 100% of the track. There might be one small part that you can't see from where we're sitting, but if you just adjust yourself about 10 feet that way, you can see it then. It's just crazy how well you can see here, and what a great facility the Sunday Creek Raceway Park is.
And if you're a motocross fan, you'll be interested to know that they are holding a Loretta's qualifier here next week.
Yes, and I will be here for that. That'll be my first taste of amateur motocross for the 2018 season as I get prepped and warmed up for Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship.
Are you going to Loretta's this year?
Yes, I am. I got the word on that just the other day.
Good.
And we are going back.
For those of you here at the GNCC Racing Nation, Ronnie Tomlin is also the voice of Loretta Lynn's amateur national championships.
One of a few, anyway.
One of a few, that's right. And all the names come out there. We got Jason Wygant, you got
Kevin Kelly.
Yep.
Wes King.
Jeff Emig will make an appearance every once in a while. And I haven't seen Ralph Shaheen.
Ricky Carmichael comes in every once in a while. No, Ralph doesn't come in. I don't get that.
No, I haven't seen Ralph there.
We're going to have to give him
all the other motocross guys are there.
Well, we got motocross guys there. We got UTV guys here, and we've got our defending champion right there. But that is our 4th place car. Actually, he is right at a minute behind your direct leader, Kyle Chaney, in the number 3 car. Jamie McCoy in 2nd in the 70 car, and his brother Hunter Miller is in 3rd. The distance between those 3 is 4 seconds between Chaney, McCoy, and Miller. They are physically battling it out there on the racetrack. Cody's driving his own race out there right now, but at the same time trying to make up for some lost ground. Not sure what's going on there. Lap time's looking like this right now. Kyle Chaney at 11:19, Jamie McCoy then at 11:24, and 11:21 for Hunter Miller as he made up some time on lap number 2. Cody Miller at 11:47. Matt Zeeler, who rounds out the top 5 at 11:52, and then we just go on up into the 12-minute ranges. So, man, these front 5 cars are really elite drivers, it seems like, here in these particular conditions. And this particular obstacle right here, the mulch pile.
Oh, my goodness. Who is this on the right-hand side? He is just hammering that.
I didn't catch the number on that one.
He was going too fast. We couldn't catch it, but, man, he did not mind that car was just trouncing him.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Chuck, we got, 2 laps down. We're working, and lap 3 should be in about a minute and a half. I got probably enough time to run through some classes here. The UXC1 Pro Turbo, Chaney, McCoy, Hunter Miller, Cody Miller in 4th. Darren Oakley is rounding out your top 5. Oakley out of Middletown, Ohio. By the way, Cole Sequoia in 6th out of Hopewell, Ohio. Sean Bogdan in 7th out of Waynesburg, PA. 8th is Michael Swift out of Lewisburg, Tennessee. Walker Fowler out of this one after 1 out of Rogers, Ohio. Kevin Trantham also appears to be out in the 4 car as he is running 10th place now.
That's too bad for Kevin Trantham because he's up there in the points also. He came into this with a shot at the championship.
And that's what I said. If you remember, leading into the show, there could be a lot of changes in these types of situations and circumstances. Certainly make for that. There is the 69 car of Chris Wolf. He is 9th place right now in the UXC1 Pro Turbo close out of Moatsville, West Virginia. Actually, that was the, UXC2 Pro class. The class is being led by Matt Zeeler after 2, and listen to this, .198. These guys literally crossing the finish line together. Colin Truitt in the 17 car from Nebo, North Carolina, is listed as second, at least at the moment. Jason Watt in third aboard in the 16 car, whom was in a top 3 overall position there at one point. Kyle Hart, the 141, in the 4th place position from Kelly, Louisiana. Sean Hess out of Moonster, Texas, the 122 car in 5th. Robert Boynton, the 77 of Toms River, New Jersey, 6th. 116, Spencer Modlin out of Omaha, Nebraska, 7. 144, Austin Slick out of Buckeye Lake, Ohio, in 8th. 9th, Chris Wolf out of Moatsville, West Virginia. 10th, Matthew Ashton, the number 30 car out of Canton, Ohio.
And we just saw Jamie McCoy coming onto the motocross track, so we should be getting the leader coming through the barrels here in just a moment.
All right, we'll do that. We'll check up with our lead, and then we'll get back here to the UXC3 class, which has a fairly competitive battle going on as well. Folks, if you haven't got our ice cream yet, head on up to the FFA alumni concession stand there, as they have got great food and they've got ice cream. What a better way to kick off summer.
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. It's summer to me, man. I look back to school. School's out. It's summertime.
That's it.
My daughter graduated high school last night. It's summertime.
She's not old enough to graduate.
Fortunately, she is, my friend.
Bogdan. Wow, he's falling apart.
You know what? As long as the car finishes, it don't matter what's flopping down there if it flops up.
Last I saw, he was running in 10th place. Of course, he's got a girlfriend, Tiger, there, and we'll have to ask her later how that ride was, because it looks like he is on the move.
Well, it looks like Bogdan has dropped off to 14th.
Okay.
And that's for the moment. Now, that's with these cars coming in. Kyle Cheney is in with 3 laps complete, 3.4 seconds behind him now. Hunter Miller, Jamie McCoy, the 70 car, another 11 seconds back in 3rd. Now, we're waiting that 54 seconds or so.
That's right.
Or maybe sooner, depending on what Cody Miller is able to achieve here on this lap of racing, as we watch a lot of these Yamaha cars making their way around and
getting hard. There was one Yamaha out there, and now it's the Yamahas are really starting to take over the racing scene.
They are. Polaris has put together a great program.
Absolutely, and so is Can-Am.
Yeah, they did. They paved a good way, and now the major manufacturers like Kawasaki and Honda and Yamaha, they're all looking at this. Yamaha obviously first on board, but Honda's got one coming. It's going to be a doozy, my friends. They went back to the drawing board after Polaris released this 1000 model, and it's going to be huge, I would imagine. That's the rumor mill anyway. We'll see
that's
how
the rumor mill, and I know that it took, being friends with a lot of Yamaha dealers, it took a while for that YXZ to catch on with the manual transmission, but here in the race world, a lot of guys are really taking to it. And we're seeing a lot more of those cars out here on the track. There's Cody Miller. He just checked through the finish line.
4th place.
And you can see he's passing somebody at the he's doing 14 miles an hour, and that guy's doing 13. So
look at trying to go slow as you can and make a pass at the same time.
Yeah,
he's at least trying to get up side by side so he can hit the hammer whenever.
So
there you go. That's exactly.
Obviously, it's a lapper, so the lapper is going to let him by, but he just wanted to be ready for it.
Yeah, but he wanted to be in position to get by, I believe. So
let's
list the time. So we said 54 seconds last time. Cody Miller is still 4th place, but something going on out there is these front 3 are stretching things out. A minute and 27, almost a minute and 28 seconds back is Cody Miller in the 4th place position. That's crazy. Darren Oakley, 4.5 seconds behind him in 5th. Matt Zeeler is 6th. Jason Watt is 7th. We wait now for the 8th place position, which at last check was Colin Truitt in the 17 car, but he may be a little further up after time adjustments and his 3rd lap complete.
Well, now Jason Watt and Colin Truitt, I believe that they started on the same row. They did. So there should be a battle there between the two of those guys.
Well, we'll be watching and waiting for that, obviously.
Hold our breath in anticipation, right?
Exactly. I'm turning blue, man.
Yeah. This
There's a lot
is something else, man. It's so rough. I know I keep saying it, but look at that.
You got to realize, were you out there this morning for the youth race? Did you see it in the youth race?
No, I didn't.
It looks like a totally different place. You would not recognize.
It falls apart so fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
10 o'clock, really. I mean, even when the 10 o'clock race, it was so much different at 10 o'clock, and by the end of that 2 hours of racing at 10 o'clock, it was a totally different place. Then the 1 o'clock race, and now the side-by-sides are certainly taking its toll. And like you said, those will be coming out to do a little bit of track maintenance. 2-lap cart is out.
So this will indeed be a 5-lap race.
Chuck, you're going to be riding. Well, no, you won't be riding tomorrow, will you?
I will not be riding for a little while. Yeah, I just had ACL surgery 3.5 weeks ago, so I'm still limping around a little bit. And I've missed you in the mornings because you're too far away to get over here and say hello to. Usually we do a quick interview on the intercom, but man, that's a far way to Gimp. So
yeah, I just saw the 723 car. That's Vicky Fowler. That is Walker Fowler's mom. Let's see how the women's class is starting to shape up right here.
She straight up beat him.
Yes, she has. Hey, Walker, your mom beat you today. Vicky's made 2 laps now. Rogers, Ohio. She's in 3rd place. Addie Neibel, the 237 car from Cameron, Missouri, 2 laps down, a 42-second lead over the 217 of Sarah, the Golden Girl herself. She's not, I'm not meaning old-wise, but
right,
she's the Golden.
Sarah Golden.
Yeah, she's worth all of her weight in golden. Masontown, West Virginia, Vicky Fowler, the 723, Rogers, Ohio. She is 3rd, 4th place. Emily Truitt hasn't checked in out of Marion, North Carolina, in the 127 car, and Renee McGee, the 887 from Bullville, North Carolina. Is your 5th place driver in the women's UTV racing. Masters class, Matthew Yerrickson, champion PA, is your leader. 107, Paul Yerrickson from Elizabeth, PA. In 2nd, 324, Glenn Hess from Munster, Texas. In 3rd, 406 car is Thomas Wilson from Katy, Texas. 5th place, Austin Sides from Sanger, Texas on the 120. Home of Thomas Brown, the world ATV motocross champion. He won the world overall there last year at the Quad Cross of Nations. So, well, he's a world champion. He also was a part of Team USA in winning the Team Quad Cross of Nations in ATV motocross. So wow, we got some big things coming out of Sanger, Texas now.
I'm taking you with me to trivia night.
I don't know if as long as we're on the same subject.
As long as we're talking ATVs, you're my guy.
Yeah, that's it. 401 Mark Thompson out of Ocala, Florida is 6th. Kip Atkins, the 409 from Seymour, Tennessee, is 7th. 388 Matt Horton from Poolville, Texas in 8th. 9th place Bobby Hasty from Greenville, Texas in 9th. And Devin Ferguson from Knoxville, Tennessee, the 183 car, rounds out your top 10. 11th place, the 39 car, Mike Penland out of Raven Gap, Georgia in his Can-Am. You remember, you might have heard me talking about him on the start. The father, the grandfather you will,
of it all.
Of the basically 4x4 racing, utility type racing in GNCC and across the board. I mean, he not only came here, he made a place for it here, and then he started going out to other places and brought that machine to new levels.
The Baja 1000 and racing out there in the desert. And
Pikes Peak.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair to him, he's running a plus 45 class, and he's a couple years older than 45.
A couple. Just a couple, but you know, Big John Knox tells me that now 60 is the new 40, so he's probably only in his mid-40s now. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. There you go.
So here we go. By the way, Big John Knox will be turning 60 tomorrow. So happy birthday!
Oh,
to
happy birthday to Big John! When you see him, everybody, offer him some ice cream.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
And ice cream. Speaking of which, let me get a little nibble of that.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of nibbles, let's nibble on this one. I didn't get a chance to talk about XC3 Pro-Am or the Sportsman class, so let's look at those real quick. Brian Kelso, he got the early lead in that one out of Zanesville, Ohio.
Class, yeah.
He's actually 2nd physically, I guess you could say, or maybe he may be farther back than that, but time adjustments is what he is leading on. The actual physical leader, Lil Ricky Zorn, who's about 7 feet tall and about 400 pounds, is running 2nd after time adjustments. But as far as the class is concerned, he has the physical lead.
Yeah, that's tough on Ricky, though, because he doesn't know about the time adjustment. As far as he knows, he's leading. He hasn't seen anybody with his colored sticker pass him.
It's it, and there's only a 5-second difference. Elapsed time, actually, it's 17 seconds. Sorry about that. An elapsed time of 27 minutes 16 for Kelso, 27:33 for Ricky Zorn. Zorn out of Nashville, Tennessee. Mark Strawler, the 624 car from Waterford, Ohio, is 3rd. Ryan Russell, the 671 from Clover, South Carolina, in 4th. Tanner Bowles out of Princeton, West Virginia, the 59 car, rounds out 5th. And it's Christopher Kelso out of Hopewell, Ohio, with 104 car. And 6th, 7th is the 105, Steve Dillon from Coolville, just up, literally up the road here from where we're at. Here's that UXC3 Pro-Am class, 614, Jeremy Wallace from Pataskala, Ohio, leading Bubba Gray, the 422 car from Huffman, Texas, by 28 seconds. 2 seconds behind him, the 621 of Trevor Payne from Stanley, North Carolina. 4th place, the 910 Wesley Lance from Philippi, West Virginia. 5th place, Scott Lawrence from Thornville, Ohio. 6th place, Jason Langford from Palestine, Texas, in the 405 car. 7th, Luke Shepard, the 724 car from Marion, Ohio. Eric Polomaki, 623, got the early lead in his line out of Indianapolis, Indiana's 8th. James Blackburn also got the early lead in his line in the 806 car out of Industry, PA, is 9th in class. And Donald Harrison out of Greer, South Carolina, the 513 car, rounds out your top 10. And that is all of our classes. A look at the way the top 10 are looking here after 2 to 3 laps. Some of those classes we're starting to see 3 laps in. But Kyle Cheney, still waiting for him now here at the finish line, or we're back to the finish line waiting for him. 11.5-minute lap times is what these boys.
Might be him right there.
Gals have been turning. Yep, it is the number 3 car making his way around. He is also from Pataskala, Ohio. We were talking about another driver from that area. There's a lot of folks from right around in this area that are racing, and I noticed
it's kind of like a disease, Rodney. Once one person gets it, it kind of spreads it to all of his buddies.
Exactly, and I noticed the same thing about Texas. There's a lot of those guys down in Texas.
Once the Miller brothers started showing up, all of a sudden we started seeing some more entries from Texas. So.
Yeah, you got Sean Hess is out here from Texas, Bubba Gray's from Texas, Jason Langford's from Texas, Cody and Hunter Miller from Texas.
That's right. There for a while, this sport was being dominated by Tompkinsville, Kentucky.
Right. Yeah, that was true. And, you know, I was thinking about William Yoakley and his nephews and the whole family there just earlier this morning, wondering where they are and if we'll get a chance to see those guys back at it again or not. But
I would love to. You know, that family's they're pretty incredible people. Always been friendly. Of course, Yoakley had a reputation at the track as being kind of the wild child, but you know, he's preaching these days. He's filling in the pulpit at his church.
I see. No, it doesn't surprise me a bit.
No, me either. I had the privilege of getting to know him and I wouldn't say counsel him, but just, you know, being the chaplain here at the track, got to know him as he was kind of transitioning and saying, you know, I don't think I want my life to be all about this party mentality. I want to know what's most important in life, and so it's been really cool to see him grow and mature.
Well, he obviously is a man that was destined for something like that because, in my opinion, he had that inner glow about him. You know what I mean? It was always working and lurking in there, no doubt. And speaking of working and lurking, we've got some of that going on right now. We're less than
great view from the chopper.
Yep.
From the I guess we call it a drone.
Yep, the drone.
And it uses batteries, not gas. But whatever. Hey, it flies.
I was letting it go, but I was letting you run with that one. I was thinking folks are home. Wow, they got a gas-powered drone. No, it is a battery-operated drone, but it. Yeah.
Our producer says that we can throw some helicopter sound effects in if we want to, if we request it. That's right.
Go ahead and throw those in, if nothing else, for effect for the people at home.
For the people at home. They don't know any better. Right. We just saw Kyle Cheney coming onto the motocross track there and checking through the barrels, and I did not see Jamie McCoy behind him, so it looks like, of course, it's on a time adjustment still. So
11:26 lap time that time around. That's what, just a few seconds off of where he was, so very consistent lap.
He's looking really good. He's on screen right now, and he's just carving the corners and got that smart thing with that bright yellow roll cage. It just shines through all the mud that he's been able to find, and he's easy to pick out.
Boy, I tell you, that mud made for a nasty moment or two during that ATV race here for the 1 o'clock race for those guys. But I have to say, it's given us ultimately prime conditions, I think, for this race. I mean, there's some slicks, corners, and there's some wet areas and so forth out there. But at the same time, I mean, these track conditions out in the woods, out in the fields, they're perfect.
It looks it. I mean, we're not getting mounds of dust. At the last UTV race, we were fighting the dust so bad sometimes we couldn't even see what the cars were. And right now, it's beautiful. No dust, and we're getting and it's not so muddy that you can't read the numbers either. So getting a good look at Cody Miller here. I saw a flash of his brother, the number 2 car, just a moment ago.
Hunter's checked in, and second place, 18 seconds behind Kyle Cheney. Jamie McCoy 10 seconds behind him. And under normal circumstances, I might say, hey, this is the opportunity that the number 1 Cody Moore has been looking for, or Cody Miller has been looking for. But the thing is, he lost about 30 seconds on the last lap whenever we thought that maybe that's what he was looking for the lap before. And unless something's changed, I can't say whether it looks like he's actually reeled in the pack there to get any closer to McCoy.
And I don't understand that either, because his car, he's fast. He's watching his car here. He's hooking up. He's getting traction. He's moving when he's supposed to be moving. He's looking smooth. But I'll tell you, Kyle Cheney and Hunter Miller and Jamie McCoy are apparently just that much faster and smoother.
At least they are today, you know, and that's the beauty of GNCC racing is, you know, when Big Dave, I think, thought of this series and began, he wanted to create a race that, you know, not only was tough
and not only put you through your test and physically, mentally, and everything else, but at the same time, I think he wanted to design a race that on any given day, any given rider had the opportunity. It was an equal and fair playing field, had the opportunity to win the overall and win the race. And that's exactly, I think, with the time adjustments and stuff, that's exactly what we get with this type of off-road racing. And it has created some of the most exciting moments in my life as far as in my career as far as racing is concerned, just being here at the GNCC under these types of circumstances.
No doubt. Part of the intro for the RacerTV show was this is the John Penton, so there's some footage of the old Penton days and John Penton himself, and it kind of showed from the Blackwater days and the progression of everything, and so just exactly what we have maintained true to our roots on the conditions, and this is built so that anybody can come out here and win if you've trained, if you put in the time. It's not easy, but you know, it's not built specifically for one person.
No, it's not. And the great thing about it is just the people that love this. I mean, and we were just mentioning that how it brings families together.
Yes.
I mean, we see it all the time, families racing individually on ATVs and motorcycles and things like that, in the UTVs as well. I mean, to see it like that it gives me hope for what the future has, because you keep a family together, you keep a good strong base unit, a good unit there, and you keep a good strong unit, and you keep everybody coming to the GNCC. That means we got a strong racing nation.
Absolutely. And you know, I've talked to a lot of my friends about the time that you know, we're going to these races, and yeah, on a good day we come home with a piece of wood. You know, we get a plaque to hang on the wall, but the real trophy of the day is that 10-hour drive with me and my son. And, you know, he can only play video games for so long, and eventually he has to talk to Dad. And, you know, we just it's a great family time. It really is.
Most certainly. And right now, our family of GNCC racers are watching and waiting patiently as we are about 6 minutes out from a checker flag. We are 51 minutes into this race, so that's going to put us right at the 1 hour mark.
Right at the 1 hour mark. It's as if our track makers know what they're doing.
They do. They seem to get this figured out. Well, right now it's Kyle Cheney, Hunter Miller, Jamie McCoy, Cody Miller in fourth, with Darren Oakley rounding out the top 5. Will this mix up in this matchup make for an interesting championship race after this day is all said and done? Stick around to find out where all the chips fall here, because I'll tell you, Chuck LeMaster, we've got ourselves one heck of a finish coming up here. Stick around. GNCC Live continues right after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I
only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations.
Lucas Oil Pro Motocross returns to the legendary High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for the 42nd annual Red Bull High Point National on Saturday, June 16th, located just 5 miles north of Morgantown off I-79 exit 1. Be trackside when the dirt flies. Go to highpointmx.com. Feel the roar of speed-only motocross ring. The races start at 1 p.m. Saturday, June 16th at High Point Raceway. Visit highpointmx.com and we'll see you at the races June 16th.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as we come to you from Millfield, Ohio, and Sunday Creek Raceway for this Wiseco John Penton GNCC. Round 7 of the AMSOIL GNCC Series. I'm Rodney Tomlin along with Chuck LeMaster, and this is UTV Racing. And there is your leader, Kyle Cheney out of Pataskala, Ohio, on his way home to a big win, and one Chuck LeMaster that is going to certainly score well as far as the national championship is concerned.
Absolutely. The first 2 races of this year, Kyle Cheney scored 0 points. And then he won at the last round. It looks like all things go well today. He's going to get a second win, so he's going to double his points. He'll have 60 points. And, hey, it's not over till it's over.
And, of course, you got Hunter Miller, who is running in the number 2 position right now. Hunter Miller is your current points leader. And Hunter hasn't won a race. He started 4th this year, round 1, round 2 of the racing here in UTV. It was a 3rd. He got a 2nd. You almost think by those numbers that he would be winning, but honestly, I think that he's thinking consistency is paying off. It's got him already, what is that, a 13-point lead?
13-point lead over Jamie McCoy right now. He's going to add to that right now. So Kyle Cheney, even though he's doubling his points, Hunter Miller is going to be that much farther ahead of him. So Hunter Miller is going to maintain his points lead as long as he finishes in the position he's running right now. But it's not. It's 4 rounds out of 6,
right.
And Jamie McCoy is in the 2nd place position with a DNF in round 2.
Yeah, exactly. So
which is unheard of. If you've got a DNF, you're out of it.
That's how crazy this season has been, though, in the UTVs. I mean, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Things that what you think you see, and even right down to the checker flag sometimes isn't exactly the way it all works out in the very end.
Oh, man.
Just,
well,
crazy.
Look at this. We're getting a final shot. Kyle Cheney is now coming onto the motocross track. All that's left is for him to get through the motocross track, and then the barrels are at the end there. The checker flag will be waiting for him.
Well, as he rolls through these final few moments of lap number 5 here at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC, Kyle Cheney for his 2nd race in a row is looking to take wins. And, of course, with that, inch his way closer to the possibility of vying for a national title, depending on how the rest of the season breaks down for these drivers out here. And Kyle Cheney is not going to give up until giving up is all that he has left. And he does not here today as he takes the big win at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC and one step closer to inching his way to a top overall finish. And as we say, he had issues in the first couple of rounds. Other drivers had issues. If other teams have issues in the future, that could pay huge dividends for him. So these wins today, right now, are very monumental for Kyle Cheney as he tries to dig himself out of that hole. But more importantly, he's getting a lot of bragging rights and a lot of recognition by taking such what I would consider a rather convincing win when you look back at traditionally what we've seen here as far as the finishes. And that's one thing that we were talking about in commercial break a few moments ago, is that, wow, the racing has not been very tight. We haven't seen that wheel-to-wheel action and all the craziness that we've seen through the first 3 rounds.
Through the first 3 rounds, it's like these guys kind of they got it dialed and they settled into their pace today, and they ran a consistent race, which is exactly what they want to do.
Right.
I mean, even if you're running in 3rd or 4th, you want to be consistent. So at least know where you're at. So speaking of consistency here, on the last lap, breakdown in the mulch pit. Oh, he's stuck in the mulch pit.
Oh, mercy.
Stuck in the mulch pit, and we don't know who this is. It's probably one of our, I believe it's one of our amateur drivers, but he is framed out in the mulch pit. Those ruts got so deep by the end of this race that there is nothing left for him to do. Getting a good look here at Adam McGill right there, and Hunter Miller coming in 2nd place for today, and that puts a big smile on Adam McGill's face.
Jamie McCoy will finish up in the number 3 spot out of Kingsport, Tennessee. He's in the number 70 car, and he'd actually, if memory serves me, grabbed the early lead off the start there.
He did.
And but Kyle Cheney, man, would not be denied. Not only was he not going to be denied, I think he started in row 2 or something like that, and still came out the physical winner in that one.
The physical winner of that one. He just put it down, put all concentration, and put into an excellent drive today. So congratulations to Kyle Cheney. Want to remind all of our friends here at the track that the water truck water slide is about to happen in about 5 minutes. Hopefully the water truck's making its way over to the entrance. The plastic's already laid down, so come on over. We've got about 3 gallons of soap to make this thing nice and fast. There's a big mud puddle at the bottom of it. So come join us. I'm going to head over that way right now, Rodney. And
grab you some ice cream on the way
Get
over.
me some ice cream. Go do the water truck water slide. Go to chapel at 7 o'clock. Mikey Waynes is down there at the podium. He's going to catch some interviews with these guys. And I bid you farewell until the next time.
Thank you very much, Chuck LeMaster. And, of course, breaking it down class by class right now. Again, Cheney, Miller, McCoy, Cody Miller making his way around as well. Darren Oakley will finish up. There's Oakley coming in right now. He actually will take 4th. What happened to Cody Miller out there? Nope, that's not good. Cody Miller in the number 1 car has dropped to at least a 5th place position. Big brother Hunter Miller taking the 2nd place position. And we'll go back and check that in just a moment. Let's look at UXC2. Kyle Hart taking the win there, or no, is in the lead now. They're doing about 2 minutes, had a 15-second lead over Sean Hess. Austin Seelig, the 144 car, was 18 seconds back in 3rd. The 77 of Robert Boynton out of Toms River, New Jersey, was 4th. Chris Wolf, the 69 car, up from 9th to a 5th place position out of Moatsville, West Virginia, as they rolled into the final laps here. So let's head down to the winner's circle where Mikey Waynes is standing by with Kyle Cheney.
Today, man, they were cooking so good, it was insane. I got to thank Fox and G-Force for getting the shocks good. Like the 3rd lap, I caught up to the leaders because I started in the 2nd row, about halfway through the 1st lap, and then picked off a few of them, and I followed Jamie McCoy for a while, and then I think Hunter was ready to go, so he hit me a couple times, and we took off, and I started feeling something in my front end. I ripped my front skid plate down, and I was like, man, I hope it's not like something important that's going to make me DNF. But after a couple minutes, I'm like, it's something good. Steering's still tight, and just ripped the skid plate down a little bit. But other than that, it was a flawless race, man. Track ended up being really good. After the 1st lap, it was really slick the 1st lap. After the 1st lap, it got super tacky, and the track was awesome.
So you got some more wins coming up later this season, maybe fight for that championship?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. That was my goal after the first 2 rounds, DNF in the first 2 rounds. I got to win the rest of them to have a chance at the championship. But I mean, with Hunter, on the podium again, and he's just been consistent. All I got to do is, I can do what I can do and just keep clicking off wins and see what happens.
There you go, Kyle Cheney, your 1st place finisher here this afternoon.
Well, congratulations, Kyle Cheney, and he may be exactly right. We could be looking at consistency being what wins the championship here in 2018 as far as the side-by-side racing is concerned. As we said, Hunter Miller, a 4th, a 3rd, and 2 seconds now, as he will move a little further ahead in the overall point standings. And, of course, Kyle Cheney is trying to dig himself out. That's 2 wins for him. He was 9th place heading into this round of racing out of the top 20. So a win certainly can pay huge dividends, as we found out for him one race ago in this side-by-side racing. The UXC2 Pro, Kyle Hart, Hess, Boynton, Seelig, Wolf, Guggenauer in 6th, Zeller in 7th, Jason Watt is 8th, Colin Truitt 9th, and Spencer Modlin was 10th place. Jeremy Wallace leading the UXC3 Pro-Am class there. Wallace in the 614 car out of Pataskala, Ohio, and we'll check in with them in just a moment as Mikey Waynes is down with our 2nd place team of Adam McGill and, of course, the driver, Hunter Miller, along with Mikey Waynes.
Well, Hunter Miller, man, a 2nd place finish for you in the Gator here today at John Penton.
Yeah, that was a tough race. We got that rain right before we started, and eventually the track came around. First lap, it was just a matter of hitting trees and staying out of trouble. Well, there was quite a bit of carnage. Jamie and I were bouncing off each other, and Walker, and Adam was doing his best to keep me calm. It was getting pretty intense, but around the second lap, the track started coming through, and the last lap, it really was coming in, and we could actually pick the speed up a little bit. But Kyle caught up to us there at the beginning of the race real quick, and we tried hanging with him in the slick stuff, but couldn't. And then we had a pretty good race for a while, and then hit some lappers, and he got away from us. But that's all right. We're just trying to manage the championship here. And, second will do it.
That'll do it, man. Well, what was the mindset coming into today? I mean, during that ATV race, we had a couple of pretty good rain showers. I mean, did that affect the mindset at all?
Before it started raining, I was thinking, after I walked the track, I was like, this is just like home. I'm ready for this. And I kind of came in with the mindset that I was going to sprint the whole race because I really need to get a win, so I can pull a little bigger points lead and have a comfortable lead going into the last 2 races. But after the rain, that changed everything. I decided that I better play it safe and not make a mistake, and that's just what we did.
Hunter, good work. Hunter Miller right there, your second place finisher here today.
Well, Hunter Miller, definitely a very calculated racer, and knowing what he's got to do and know what position he is in to make things work out for him as far as the national championship is concerned. And my hat's off to you, my friend, on a well-executed race here today, finishing second overall. And of course, congratulations to your co-pilot there as well, Adam McGill. We were looking at that UXC3. We'll get our third-place team up for you in just a moment. But Jeremy Wallace, Bubba Gray, there's your Jamie McCoy is our third-place driver, by the way, in the overall standings. Darren Oakley in 4th, Kyle Hart in 5th. And as we were saying, UXC, Bubba Gray, Trevor Payne is 3rd, 4th place Jason Langford, 5th place Scotty Lawrence. That is your UXC3. What you're seeing on screen is for the overall right now, and that's where we're headed to as well. And just to give you an idea, Kyle Hart was the winner of UXC2 Pro, and he took 5th place overall, so pretty impressive stuff, no doubt. I believe that Mikey Wayne's standing by with Jamie McCoy down at the winner's circle.
Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, down here, third place finisher today, Jamie McCoy. Man, what did it take to finish out in the top 3?
We got the start, and we tried to just stay consistent. It was really slick, like the first lap or so, and I was breaking the trail, so really felt a little at ease. But just a good steady pace, and I could hear them coming, and Hunter and Kyle behind me, and we had a couple beats and bangs, and they got around me, and I settled in for third today. It just wasn't my day.
Well, it's still a darn good job with as many drivers as we had out there today. Jamie McCoy, congratulations, man, on the third place finish.
All righty, and congratulations again to our top 3 overall, Kyle Chaney, Hunter Miller, and Jamie McCoy on well-executed races here in some what seemed to be a little bit adverse conditions after the rain showers today, but I'll tell you, it turned out to be perfect here, and we're looking for nothing but perfection again tomorrow. We'll be live on RacerTV.com beginning tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so be sure and join us for that, if you will. And that's pretty much going to wrap things up here from the Weisco John Penton GNCC, Sunday Creek Raceway in beautiful Millfield, Ohio. On behalf of Chuck LeMaster, of course, Mikey Waynes, and all of us here at RacerTV.com, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.